Hey everyone, what's up? Dr. Shred here. Welcome back. We're in our Lose Your Rind series. I just finished my 1,000 rep, 1,000 calorie burn. I'm feeling great. We're going to talk about the mechanics of weight loss today. All right, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to lose 20 pounds of weight in 1 month. Phenomenal weight loss, no problems, guaranteed. No, but seriously, your weight loss has to be steady. If you look at a pound of fat, it has 3,500 calories in it. So we get you to a 500 calorie deficit a day. In 7 days, you're going to lose 1 pound. In a month, you're going to lose 4 pounds. So this is a slow process you have to stick with. I'm not going to lie to you and guarantee you're going to lose weight in 3 months. But try to aim for a pound a week. That's a good goal. Try to get your calorie balance in line like I'm going to show you, and we'll get success for you. Yeah, I know. The mechanics of weight loss, calories in versus calories out. You've heard it a million times and it doesn't work. Well, I'm going to show you my idea of that equation. We're going to talk about calories in and how you can minimize your calories, increase your protein intake to get your muscles to grow. And we're going to talk about the factors that affect your calories out, the calories you burn every day. We're going to talk about your basal metabolic rate and talk about the different types of exercises you should do. We're going to get your basal metabolic rate up, get your calorie burn with your exercise it up, and we're going to shift that balance so that you're burning more calories than you're taking in, and you'll start losing weight. Let's go over the mechanics of weight loss, but we're going to go beyond just calories in minus calories out. And I'm going to show you how to tip this balance in your favor to achieve successful weight loss. Let's start with calories in minus calories out. This is the basic concept that you need a negative calorie balance so your body starts using your stored fat for energy, which leads to successful weight loss. Let's break down each component and discuss the variables you can control to successfully lose weight. First, let's start with the calories inside. This is relatively simple. Everything you eat counts towards the calories in. Calories out includes adding together your resting metabolic rate plus the thermal energy of food plus exercise that you do every day. Now let's get into the specifics of each of these 4 items, and I'll show you how to make this formula work towards your successful weight loss. Regarding calories in, remember there are only 3 sources of calories: protein, carbs, and fat. And also remember that fat contains more than twice the calories of protein and carbs per gram. So clearly we want to minimize our fat intake. Also, in order to build muscle, which will increase our resting metabolic rate, which I'll talk about shortly, we need to increase our protein intake. So we want to really eat a very high protein intake, a very low fat intake, and that will naturally lead to a low carbohydrate intake. I've shown the recommended starting daily calorie intake for men and women trying to lose weight. For women, it's about 1,200 calories per day is the target, and for men, it's 1,600 calories. But remember, this amount will need to be adjusted based on the success of your weight loss. The calories out is where things start to get interesting. So let's break down each of these components. Calories out equals your basal metabolic rate plus your exercise. Basal metabolic rate is the calories that you burn in a day just to live. It's calories you're not aware of that you're burning. It's when your heart beats, when you're breathing, when you're fighting an infection, when your brain's thinking, maintaining a constant body temperature. All the functions that your body does to live in a day is considered the basal metabolic rate. And the basal metabolic rate can be broken down into resting metabolic rate and thermal energy of food. The resting metabolic rate is the calories used to live, not including the calories used for digesting your food. The thermal energy of food is the calories used to digest food. Remember, everything you eat has to be digested, physically broken down, and then chemically broken down into chemical components that your intestines can absorb. And this process takes energy to perform, which is called the thermal energy of food. As you can see, the resting metabolic rate comprises about 70% of calories burned in a day, so that's the most calories you burn just living. Thermal energy of food is about 10%, and your exercise is only about 20% of calories you burn in a day. Your resting metabolic rate is the most calories you burn in a day. And if we can increase your resting metabolic rate, then we can achieve weight loss more easily. So what factors control your RMR? Here's a list of these factors which control your resting metabolic rate. In green are the factors which we can control, and in blue are the factors that we cannot control. So let's focus on the controllable factors. The most important is muscle mass. Increasing your muscle mass, which is otherwise known as fat-free mass, has the biggest effect on increasing your resting metabolic rate. And I believe this is the biggest variable to achieving successful weight loss. If you have low muscle mass, your resting metabolic rate will be low, and you're setting yourself up for failure to lose weight. And I believe this is the #1 reason why many of you cannot lose weight. So you need to exercise in a manner that builds muscle, which will involve resistance training or weightlifting, like working out in the gym. That's why I want you to watch my videos on working out to help you build muscle mass. Reducing emotional stress is also very important to increasing your resting metabolic rate. Emotional stress increases cortisol, which drops your RMR, and has a lot of negative effects on your body in general. So if you have a lot of stress, find ways you can try to relieve those and try to live more of a stress-free life, which can help increase your resting metabolic rate. Working in the heat or cold requires your body to use energy to maintain a constant body temperature, which also increases your resting metabolic rate. You can't often control your work environment, but spending more time outside on the weekends or in evenings, not in a temperature-controlled, air-conditioned environment, can help increase your resting metabolic rate. Hormones are also important, such as your thyroid, which helps regulate your resting metabolic rate. So if you're struggling to lose weight, make sure to have your thyroid blood work checked by your physician. Make sure your thyroid hormones are appropriate. Underactive thyroid can lead to weight gain, but in my experience, this is not often the cause of unsuccessful weight loss. And finally, caffeine intake has been shown to increase your resting metabolic rate. So if you like to drink caffeinated beverages, 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, for example, would be reasonable, but don't drink too much. The non-controllable factors include starvation. If your body gets severely calorie deprived, it will start shutting down its functions to save energy. None of us really go through that kind of process in general. Genetics, some people genetically have a high resting metabolic rate, and others tend to have a low resting metabolic rate, which can lead to some familial tendency to have obesity. Gender, males tend to burn more calories than female, and your age. As you get older, your resting metabolic rate does drop over time. Now let's talk about the thermal energy of food. What is interesting, and many of you may not realize, is that protein is much harder to digest than carbs or fat. Protein intake will increase your resting metabolic rate about 20 to 30%. Carbs will increase it by 5 to 10%, and fat intake only increases it by none to 5%. So carbohydrates and fat are easier to break down and digest, whereas protein is much harder, and therefore protein takes more energy to digest compared to carbs or fat. So a high protein diet, in addition to improving your muscle gains and muscle mass, also helps to increase your basic metabolic rate because of the difficulty in digesting protein. So in addition to protein and resistance training increasing your muscle mass to increase your basic metabolic rate, a diet high in protein has a secondary benefit of increasing your BMR by increasing the thermal energy of food. Turns out that a high protein diet has magical properties on weight loss through multiple mechanisms. Now let's focus on exercise. I often hear patients telling me they're walking 3 miles a day, they've reduced their calorie intake, and they're still not losing weight. It's important to use your time exercising to your advantage to help you lose weight. Walking is a relatively low-calorie exercise and does not help you build muscle compared to weightlifting. So I would encourage you to ramp up to the more calorie-intense exercises like weightlifting or rowing or bicycling. But remember, you should use your exercise to help you build muscle to increase your basal metabolic rate. That's why I believe weightlifting or any type of resistance training is a crucial part of successful weight loss. So in summary, to reduce your calories in, I want you to consume high protein, low fat, and low carbohydrate diet, and also be willing to adjust the calories per day you're targeting based on the success of your weight loss. For increasing your resting metabolic rate, we want to increase muscle mass through resistance training and weightlifting. Perhaps using mild caffeine intake can help out, and reducing emotional stress. To increase the thermal energy of food burned, I want you to consume more protein. And to make your exercise more efficient, I want you to burn more calories per hour through more vigorous exercise and utilize weightlifting or resistance training to help you build muscle. So now let's look at some numbers. For calories in, as I mentioned, women should be on about 1,200 calories per day, men about 1,600 calories per day. For the resting metabolic rate, it's obtainable through an equation that you can find online. I did it for the average man and woman, and you can see the numbers there. Thermal energy of food is for a diet which contains about 50% of calories coming from protein And the exercise calories I've shown are typical of an hour of weightlifting. So you can see you can achieve about a 750 calorie deficit per day. Remember, burning 1 pound of fat requires a 3,500 calorie deficit. So the weight loss you should achieve in about a week would be 1.5 pounds, about a month would be 6 pounds, and about 6 months would be 36 pounds. That's considered very successful weight loss. And so I think if you can increase your resting metabolic rate through weightlifting and muscle gain and increasing your muscle mass, eating more protein to increase your thermal energy of food, and exercising more vigorously, you will be able to achieve these numbers and you will achieve successful weight loss.
All right, so there you have it. That's the mechanics of weight loss. Calories in minus calories out, and if you have a negative balance, you're going to lose weight. I hope the equation I showed you helps. I think if you stick with it, you're going to lose weight successfully. It'll take time, but it'll be permanent weight loss that you'll enjoy and you'll be proud of. Thanks for watching.